Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Want to be a part of the Nerd Party community? Don't forget to like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/thenerdparty and follow us on Twitter at JoinNerdParty. You can also help us by leaving a rating and comment in Apple Podcasts to help spread Time and Space to other listeners. If you want to contact us, visit thenerdparty.com/contact, click on our show logo, and leave a comment for us there. Time and Space, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Jessica Nunn.
And I'm her husband and co-host, Phillip Gilfus.
So,
happy holidays.
Season's greetings.
That's right.
Mostly thyme and oregano.
Glad tidings.
Glad tidings.
Comfort and joy.
Woohoo! December.
That's right. Well, it's the end of December, the end of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of new things coming in the new year, including new episodes of Doctor Who.
This is not us telling people we're pregnant, is it? That's what that sounds like.
Something better.
Something
The best
better
is to come.
Yet to come.
That's right.
We're not pregnant.
No, I mean, I am. She's not.
Yes.
It's timey-wimey. Well, we're going to close out the year and the month. We've done our year-long celebration of the Doctors.
Yes.
Have you anything as you think about? We've done our 12 Doctors and a little bit of war in there, but yeah.
No, that's just a thing that we did. I can't believe we've gotten all the way through all of them.
That's right, and learned a lot.
Definitely.
And of course, but thanks to the YouTube videos from Richard, who's done 1 through 8 Doctors.
And so, may be close to finished with 9.
That's right. So we
looking forward to that.
Yeah, so definitely take time to review this as we go into the new year. Nice to do it once a year, every year. So
speaking of 9.
Yes. Oh, yes. I got a book for Christmas or Boxing Day or
today.
Kwanzaa.
It arrived in the mail today.
Yes. Jessica got me Christopher Eccleston's I Love the Bones of You memoirs. So look forward to reading that.
Yep. And that may be making an appearance in
Yes.
the TARDIS library at some point.
Exactly. But we're going to close out this month and this year with the 12th Doctor, of course, in this 12th month. And we're going to talk about the 12th Doctor's Christmas specials.
Appropriately enough.
And in our look into the TARDIS library, we'll be discussing the Big Finish production, Embrace the Darkness, starring the 8th Doctor and Charlie. But, darling, take us out with the 12th Doctor Christmas specials.
Right. Well, shall we start with the first, which is also the last?
Exactly.
The first Christmas special with Dr. 12 was Last Christmas. It was in 2014. And our synopsis is, Clara Oswald is in for one Christmas Eve that she's never going to forget. Reunited with the 12th Doctor, she faces what could possibly be her last Christmas. Something sinister lurks in an Arctic base at the North Pole, and it's beyond even the most terrible, nightmarish creatures the Doctor has faced before. Who you gonna call?
Santa Claus. So, as a reminder, this is the end of at the end of the 12th Doctor's first series with Clara. So you had the death of Danny. And so, I mean, it's a little bit of where the story is as far as the Doctor and Clara, because they sort of said goodbye to each other at the end of that with, I'm trying to remember how it happened, but anyway, they had that scene in the cafe or whatever they were, where the Doctor said he found Gallifrey, he lied, and then she said, oh no, Danny's still alive, and she lied, and they left each other thinking they were making the other person free to pursue their own pursuits.
And it was all lies.
It was lies, based on that. And then, so with Last Christmas, you just have the Doctor showing up, I'm back, and then they're back together, adventuring on. and we go from there. So, let's highlight some of the actors. Nick Frost is
Santa Claus.
What did you think of Nick Frost?
I mean, Nick Frost is always fun. I enjoyed. This is my.
I didn't recognize him without Simon Pegg standing next to him.
True. Yes. This is my least favorite of the 4 Christmas specials. There's that, but Santa Claus and his elves,
Right?
And that was fun and entertaining and.
Who is one of those elves?
You're going out of
I
order,
know.
which is why I didn't mention anything. One of the elves is Dan Starkey.
Better known as
Strax.
Yes, Strax.
And all of the...
Yes, all of his ilk.
Yes, in fact, he says in the
Sontarans.
Specials, of the behind-the-scenes bit, that this is his hat trick. This is the 3rd Christmas special in a row, because obviously the one before this was
Time of the Doctor.
Yeah, where they're in Christmas.
The town of Christmas.
The town of Christmas, and the Sontarans appear, so he was in there twice.
Yeah.
And then the one before that
The Snowman.
is the Snowman, where he plays Strax, and possibly one of my favorite episodes, because I do love the Paternoster Gang, and Strax is terribly amusing.
And so he's amusing in this one as well,
Yes,
without
definitely.
makeup.
But yeah, we get to see his face, so you don't recognize him. I'll be honest, he looks a lot younger than I think I expected.
Well, I think that's true with a lot of the gang, because every time I see, I know she has a real name that's escaping me for the moment, but every time I see Madame Vastra without makeup, she's much younger than I always think she is.
Yeah. Dan Starkey has less of a potato head than I expect as well.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The magic of prosthetics.
Indeed.
And then we get another person with a legacy as well, and that is Michael Troughton.
Yes, who plays one of the people on the Arctic base.
Yes.
The most unfortunate one of them all, ultimately. But yes, so Patrick Troughton's son makes an appearance. And again, in the specials, he talks about remembering being on set with his dad, which is kind of cool.
Because we just saw recently a Third Doctor series with his brother, who played the Prince.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, this is a family affair, this Doctor Who.
But yeah, so I would say, I don't know, the reason why it's not your favorite, I agree it's not my favorite either. It's pretty, I'm not saying a Christmas special can't be terrifying, but I mean, this is obviously a scary monster Doctor Who episode, which, that's pretty on brand for Doctor Who. But as a Christmas special, they don't tend to usually go that direction with Christmas specials.
Yes. Yeah.
But this is pretty, face crabs coming from the sky, the ceiling, and they're pretty scary for the most part. As much as Doctor Who can get, I suppose. And
irredeemable.
Yeah.
Which, again, is something that I always struggle with the monsters.
And so, there's sort of the dream within a dream, inception kind of thing, which I suppose is interesting. And as much as it is, I guess. I mean, I like the characters, Michael Troughton and the rest of the actors and actresses playing the sort of stranded researchers or whatever. I think they're all very interesting characters, like Shauna dancing and the music playing and all that. And like you said, Nick Frost and the elves are very funny. But just the core of the story, which is the monsters and the dreams and all that, it's just not very Christmassy.
No, and the dream within a dream within a dream within a dream, that to me gets old quickly. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's because the concept of it creeps me out a little bit as a general rule. But yeah.
And it's an interesting where you're sort of in the story right away. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that technique, but I don't know if it just necessarily works versus if there's been more of a build up. Usually in Doctor Who, they'll arrive at the station and then, instead of just like monsters,
Yeah, but presumably that happened because it was one of the dreams.
Yeah. And I do like the reveal at the end where everyone's in a different time and space of who they are in real life.
Yeah, but then again, it goes back, Clara's old. Oh, wait. No, she's not. But, of course, there was method to that backstage. It was a bit of a necessary
Yeah, I was reading that apparently the thoughts were that this could have been Clara's last appearance. Or actually maybe that she could have, left or been her last appearance. So this was sort of we're keeping her. So
yeah, so they had to add, this is just a dream too. And no, you're actually young and it's cool. Yeah. It's fine.
But what do you think of sort of, the dream within the dream, I think, is sort of the theme. But the larger theme of Last Christmas, every Christmas is Last Christmas, I guess, meaning, obviously you should treasure every year and every gathering. But what do you think of, because I think that's sort of trying to be the Doctor and the Clara relationship, right? Because, when you go into the future and then, she's lived this life and he didn't come back, but she's, they're so glad to see each other. I don't know. What do you sort of think of them trying to do?
It's like Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers all over again.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things all over again, not to nitpick, but I think that's what I'm doing. The part where the Doctor has old Clara, with the cracker. It's exactly what Clara did to the 11th Doctor in the last Christmas special when he was old Doctor. Because remember, she brought the Christmas cracker from home, and they opened it, and it was the poem.
Oh, yeah.
But she had to, open it up. And so you have the 12th Doctor now. And I suppose maybe that's a illusion or whatever. I just thought I've seen this already.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and also we're a little sick of Christmas crackers at this point in our
us
seasonal.
Personally.
Yes, us personally.
Yes, just because we do it every year with Christmas Carol. The show, not the Christmas special. There's a lot of things you got to explain.
Which starred Rosa Parks. There's so many places to go with this.
All right, well, let's move on to the next one.
Yep.
A year later, fittingly.
Yes, at which point we do The Husbands of River Song, 2015. The synopsis. Do you want to read this one, my love?
The 12th Doctor is on the planet Mandorax Delora in 5343, where he is asked by a man named Nardole to follow him, thinking he is a surgeon on the orders of River Song. A surgeon is required to remove a diamond from the head of the tyrannical King Hydroflax. It became lodged there due to a ruthless act of thievery gone wrong, and River seeks to recover it. Surprised that River cannot identify his newest face, the Doctor struggles to break the news to her while learning how she acts on her own, and how many other lovers she has had. However, both he and River soon find that the time is drawing close for the last page in the diary of their journeys together to be written. So what do you think of this continuing and closing story of River Song?
This is my penultimate favorite for 12th Christmas. Mm-hmm. So this is number 2 on my list, if number 1 is the very best. Mm-hmm. Mainly because I just always love River Song. She's always going to be interesting.
Right. And I remember seeing this later, because I had seen the 12th Doctor's first series live, as it aired. But I gave up on Doctor Who, or with the 12th Doctor, I sort of gave up. And so I didn't watch the subsequent series or this. And so then at some point, I don't know if it was 2016 or 2017, I don't know. I had to catch up on everything. So I'm like, I don't know, let me see what's going on in the Doctor Who world, because maybe it's gotten better or something. I don't know if that was after Bill was cast or whatever. So I had to do a lot of catching up. And so I remember the first time I watched this one, I was like, okay, and that's all right. There's a lot of stuff. Ending's all right, but I don't know. Rewatching it, I liked it better. In subsequent rewatchings, I remember watching something with Moffat once saying, people may or may not like this, but I like it because it's the story of 2 people not knowing how to tell the other person how they feel or all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I've liked it better as I've rewatched it.
Yeah, and like I say, I always love River Song. Mm-hmm. So I'm always overjoyed when she shows up. And I do. I like the idea that, she gives all of these grand speeches about her love for the Doctor. Mm-hmm. And, it's like loving the sun. You don't expect the sun to love you back. And, mm-hmm. and him being able to hear those things. And there's never a declaration.
Right.
On his part, which again, I think is kind of important. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% sure why I think it's important that he not give himself completely over to love. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think...
Maybe because that's not what I want the Doctor to be, a rom-com. Right. And this is not that. Even in this moment, it's not a rom-com.
Because he's more... it's sort of played for the comedy that he's jealous just for the sake of being jealous. Not necessarily showing... in the beginning or throughout that there's any necessarily feeling behind it. He's not like, oh, I love you. It's more that, why? What do I mean other husbands? I thought I was the only one. What's going on here? And I mean, I really like the story of what is River up to when the Doctor's not around, and obviously she's a little bit different because she doesn't have to behave because Dad's around.
I also love the idea that she steals the TARDIS on a regular basis, and he never notices.
He'll notice. He never has before. I think he'll notice now.
Yep, I think that's fantastic. And again, I just want to see that spinoff.
And just enjoy seeing the Doctor, as played by Peter Capaldi, playing the companion.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially with her, she's doing the TARDIS controls, and she says she's doing it wrong, but then she tells him what the buttons actually do, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll have to not to do that in the future."
Yeah, never go to the 7th floor, whatever it is.
And I do like it again. The more you watch, the more you catch it, because I think maybe the second or third time, it's like, well, she really should know that it's the Doctor. I mean, suss it out a little bit, but I think she's so locked in to these are the. Well, I forget how many are there.
12, yeah.
Well, they're counting the War Doctor. So
yeah.
12, you're right. Yeah, there's 12 faces because of the War Doctor. So, and because she has a little cutout or whatever she has. And she actually says, there are rules or there are limits or whatever. So she knows about the limit, but she doesn't know that the, Time Lords gave him an extra. So I think that explains it, and
yes,
and then
she's not expecting a new face because she assumes that all the new faces are done.
Yeah, and he does explain, that things have changed. But I do like talking about that there's no declaration. I think, and it leaves it up to the viewer about what the Doctor, whether it's this Doctor or the Doctor, feels about River. Because, we've talked about Eleven and River, how they are as a couple. But that point at the end where he takes a really long way to say, sometimes when you least expect it, but when you most need it, you get a song. Talking about River's song. So what about, speaking of comedians and Christmas specials, we have the introduction of Nardole, played by Matt Lucas.
Yes.
What do you think of Matt's?
I mean, I like Matt Lucas and I like Nardole, so this is nice. And I think, Matt Lucas's comedy tends to be quite broad, looking at things like Little Britain. And Nardole is much more understated.
He's much more reactionary.
Yes. And so I really am quite fond of Nardole for that reason. And of course, watching it knowing he's going to return is delightful.
Because he's almost a tertiary character in this.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Greg Davies, another comedian.
Yep.
Playing the bad guy.
Yep.
I think it's interesting they keep going to that well for Christmas specials. I mean, no complaints so far. Nick Frost, saying it.
I think it's just an opportunity to bring in interesting guest stars, and everybody wants to do Doctor Who. So, although, is Stephen Fry going to be in the New Year's special? Is that?
Yes.
Oh, so there you go. They're going to carry that on.
That's
everybody, right. I'm telling you, everybody wants to do Doctor Who.
And I think with the funny thing about Greg, who I think he gives a fine performance. It's comedic without being comedic.
Yes.
Because of course, villains, if you want to play over the top, there can be comedic.
Yes. And that's sort of what this is.
Right. And I don't think he necessarily is doing anything comedic other than he's a head in a bag. So there's that.
Yes, it's built in.
But I think what makes it funnier is if you know how large Greg Davies is, and imagining having to fit into all these things in order to be ahead. I think that makes it even funnier about having to cut the hole in the TARDIS console so he can fit through or whatever else. And then they continue with Every Christmas is Last Christmas as a line.
Yep, little throwback.
When necessary, or did you like, ugh?
As a sentiment...
Right.
It is very sentimental.
It just seemed a little forced to me. It's an odd phrase, I guess, is what I get. Unless you're going for the song reference.
Whamageddon, anybody?
Yeah, I guess. Well, because in other words, at first blush, Every Christmas, Last Christmas is quite depressing. Yeah. We could all die tomorrow. Okay.
It also sort of trivializes but Boxing Day is the last Boxing Day, and every 27th of December. And for me in particular, and maybe it's just this year, because I have not been visited by the Christmas spirit in any way, shape, or form this year. All I wanted to do was sleep.
No, you said those 3 ghosts came.
No, yeah, they did. Okay. But they did not fill me with Christmas spirit.
Oh, okay.
All I wanted to do was sleep and sit on the sofa, and I couldn't do that. Things were too busy. It was too hectic. Never had a chance. I think we talked last time about not even putting a tree up this year. It was too much. It was too much this year. Mm-hmm. And so for me, every Christmas could be your last Christmas. And I'm like, bah humbug. So, let's focus on other days too. Let's not put so much pressure on this day. I can't take it. That was all in my...
Yeah.
That might just be me, though.
I did see I don't know if you saw this on Facebook. Someone had put up, I guess, someone couldn't be bothered either. So their house decoration for their house was a Grinch figure with 1 string of lights. So that he was pulling the lights down.
Oh, nice.
And so
that was their excuse, was that they had put everything up.
But the Grinch had...
Grinch had taken it all.
Yes.
That's fantastic. No, I hadn't seen that.
I like that.
Next year.
Exactly. And no one will see it, because we live in the middle of nowhere.
That's true. All true stories.
Yep. But I do love that last scene with the sentimental doctor. But I mean, of course, the whole thing is that how they're alluding to throughout the episode, that River's at the end of her diary. Because, as we saw in sort of the behind the scenes we were watching on our Blu-ray, Alex has said goodbye to this character several times at this point. And I don't think it's bad they brought her back, because you could say, oh, we've said goodbye.
I want her back. Yeah. I want her back every time.
Yeah, I don't think in my opinion, I don't think any time they brought her back has been overused as far as endings. So, like, Name of the Doctor, when she was just sort of mysterious ghost, that was fine. And, because she was just not crazily used, but she was, had a purpose. This time has a purpose, does great things. It's fun. And then, of course, the last scene where you sort of fulfill, what was said in the library. You showed up with a haircut and a new suit, and you gave me a Sonic and all that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then you get the 24 years as your last night.
Yep.
So, takes us to another year.
Yep.
2016. The Return of Doctor Mysterio.
The synopsis for this is: the Doctor once more faces off with an alien species that wishes to conquer the planet, Shoal of the Winter Harmony. This time he has more backup than usual. However, this help has a little twist to it. It's a superhero called the Ghost.
The Ghost, which I thought was a weird name, but
yeah, it is a weird name.
This one, I remember watching. This was the, of course we can complain now. In 2019, we had 0 Doctor Who. Well, in 2016, this was the only Doctor Who. It was just 1 Christmas special, so I guess it's better than 0, right? But, and that's, I don't know, I always feel like, there's a million things going on, I know, to make a TV series, or one assumes. But I feel like it does cheat the Doctor, even though Peter Capaldi in the 12th may not always be rated as my highest one, still give me the opportunity. Yeah. Give him the opportunity, and so that he's lost this year.
Yeah, I'm interested in what goes into making those decisions.
Right.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do, like with Jodie, 13 episodes and then disappear for a year?
Yeah.
What behind the scenes thing are they battling with to make that a thing? And I don't know the answer to that. And I'd be interested in knowing the answer to that.
Because I don't know. We're saying it from an audience fan perspective, obviously, which is different from the production and money and all those things that make the world go round. But it just, I think, loses your momentum for the character and the story and all that. And so, whether people thought 13 stories were great or not great, she's established the character, the universe. Like, if you liked it, then you want more. If you didn't like it, well, there's an opportunity to redeem. But now it's just like a year, and then you also have to start all over again. And so,
and I don't necessarily see it as budget, because this last one with the 13th Doctor was relatively decent-sized budget, although it could be, right, we can budget it for 2018, we can't budget it for 2019, we can budget it again. Or is it getting the stories written, or, what goes into it? Is it availability of Chris Chibnall had another project that he was locked into working on, or Jodie had another project that she was locked into. What is it that...
Because I'm just thinking from behind the scenes, now again, I don't know. I don't have no idea how these things work, but I would just imagine, at least from an American standpoint, you're in a series, and obviously you have to wait to hear whether it's going to get renewed in America or whatever, but you sort of blocked your time. Like, I'm moving to LA, I bought a house, this is what I'm doing, it's locked in, Whereas with Doctor Who, so Jodie, how does she plan her calendar? Should I be looking for other jobs for another year, or can you? I don't even know, because I don't know if they have contracts with BBC.
That was the other thing.
Tazin, what are they
people
doing?
Just sitting on their thumbs because they're locked into a contract. But what does that look like?
They got to make a living too.
Yeah, especially the newbies.
Yeah.
Presumably Jodie is doing okay and Bradley is doing okay, but the newbies who are just making a start, what are they doing with their time?
Exactly. So, I don't know. We're curious.
We have questions. We have a lot of questions.
But
anyway, superheroes.
Superheroes. So, the Return of Nardole.
Yes.
I don't know if they had locked him in as the future companion, but at least he's the companion for this story.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of Nardole returning?
Again.
As now promoted to full-time companion, at least for this story.
Yeah, although still felt a little tertiary.
Right.
Because really, the ghost /
Lucy.
Well, Grant the ghost / Grant
and
is your proper companion. So he still felt a little bit tertiary, but it was nice to see him again. And I don't know if they had him locked in for the season but I like it.
Yeah.
And he provides, information that the Doctor himself is not necessarily going to provide. So served a purpose. Served a purpose.
What did you think of the story in and of itself?
The first time I saw it, I wasn't crazy about it. This time I liked it better. I think it's an interesting idea. And it's not at all villain driven.
Correct. Yeah, it's very the Grant and the superhero and grows to the
Lucy,
love story.
And does she recognize him with his glasses off? The typical, stereotypical superhero trope. That made it enjoyable to me. It wasn't about the bad guys. The bad guys are dispatched fairly easily. There is that creepy, hey, the brains have eyes thing. And hey, they bleed blue. Say that 4 times fast. And they also have this similar zipper faces that the guys from Husbands of Riversong had. So, but that connection is never really made. This is not about the villains at all. And that's always fun for me because, again, I don't like the irredeemable villains.
Because to me, I don't know, and I feel like it's an insult. But it's sort of a fluff story.
Yeah.
Not a lot to it.
Yeah, and that to me is not an insult.
I think it's Christmas. You don't want things...
Yeah, and they tend to be fun little standalones anyway.
Right.
And I kind of prefer the ones without the angst. I loved the Paternoster Gang and that story, but it had a lot of angst in it. The Doctor's really sad, and there are crazy snowmen, and
Harpy... icy housekeeper.
Yeah, there's angst there, but I like the fluffy bits of it when, you've got the time forgetting worm thing and all of that. And so, and I liked, one of the ones that I always think about is the one with the World War II pilot.
Oh, yes.
The widow.
Wardrobe and the whatever.
Yes. And, that's, there is some angst there, but it's still quite fluffy, and there aren't really bad guys. And
because I think with that one, there's a sadness to it, but I think it's of the period. I mean, there's a war going on. Everyone's sad, but within that sadness, can you still have a story? And so I think that's more of the atmosphere of the sadness.
Yeah, and the tree things aren't bad guys,
right.
And so those are the ones that I enjoy. Once again, sticking true to form, the ones that are a little more fantasy based than. science-y based.
Yeah, because with this one, I mean, I get Moffat was getting his superhero on. I think with The Last Christmas, I hate it, but don't like it as much. This one is just sort of neutral.
Yeah. This one falls as number 3 on my list.
Yeah. But I think...
but it's not too far behind number 2. I think 4, Last Christmas sort of...
Yeah.
I just don't particularly enjoy that one.
No, thank you. But this one, I think that's sort of... In as much as Moffat's trying to create the continuity with other Christmas specials. I mean, I'm sure he's trying to do it that it's his whole series, but this one sort of, because the last thing before was Husbands, you sort of do have the post-River Song Doctor. This is coming right after the Husbands.
Well, and the idea that he had been to see Grant... 24 years before, and when he realizes that it's been 24 years since he last saw him, because he's been with Riversong all that time, you get that moment, and that's really nice as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, post-River.
Because you get Nardole sort of giving the summary in case you missed it, and then you have that sort of last little mini speech that the Doctor gives. Everything ends, and it's always sad. But it begins again. That's always happy. And then you sort of have the character moment for the Doctor being sad, but Nardole saying, he'll be fine.
And the squeaky toy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it was all right. Anything else about Doctor Mysterio?
Nope, like it.
All right.
Stick with it.
So let us go to not only the last Christmas special, but the last outing of Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor with Twice Upon a Time in 2017, Christmas Day.
The synopsis for this one is, as the Doctor nears regeneration, he stumbles on his original self, also refusing to change. It takes a captain, a glass avatar, and a familiar face to convince the Doctors the universe still needs them.
David Bradley is
the first Doctor.
Da, 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 da. So what do you think of the Doctor?
This one's my favorite. Mm-hmm. What do I think of David Bradley as the first Doctor? Mm-hmm. I love him. He's grumpy like he's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And I just really enjoy David Bradley anyway. So, yeah, I think that David Bradley as the first Doctor is fantastic.
Right. I mean, I just think it was just, I don't know how the planning or casting or whatever worked, because you'd already had an adventure in space and time during the 50th.
The documentary.
Right, yeah.
The docudrama, I guess.
Docudrama. Years earlier. And so it was like...
So he wasn't really... Yeah, at that point, he wasn't playing the first Doctor. He was playing William Hartnell playing the first Doctor.
Right.
So, yeah. Just to clarify, sorry.
Exactly. But that had been... Sorry, I was trying to do mathematics, which was hard. 4 years earlier. At least in... I don't know when production actually happens, but at least airing order was 4 years ago prior to this. But then to go be like, first Doctor, who could play the first Doctor? Well, we have a, and so, I just think that's very interesting.
Well, and then the question becomes, did they come up with this idea first? Mm-hmm. Oh, we could have the first Doctor. Oh, speaking of which, we already know who can play it. Or was it... David, I've lost his name. Sorry, David Bradley played it really good, William Hartnell. How can we use that for this episode? Did it come, hey, I want to have the first Doctor in this? Or was it, hey, David Bradley was good, we could have a first Doctor, how could we make that happen? Mm-hmm. Either way, I like it.
Mm-hmm. I do like how, even though this isn't like an anniversary or anything, though, it's a Christmas special, it's Peter's last outing, so it can be a little, special, over the top in a good way, of starting with, however the screen says, 704 episodes before, previously on Doctor Who, with the old black and white footage from the 10th planet, and then morphing into David Bradley. And I was reading something, and I wouldn't notice it, because at the end of the previous episode of the 12th Doctor, when he first encounters the first Doctor, they actually did the scene differently in homage to classic Doctor Who, where you'd have the cliffhanger, which they would break and film the next episode, so it'd be slightly different because...
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's cool.
So they don't necessarily do the same lines, or, it's just, it's close enough. So anyway, I do
love a good homage.
Exactly. It's ever-changing, but I don't know if that's necessarily... a criticism, though maybe it is. we get another explanation of why the Doctor left Gallifrey. We've gotten because I was bored. We've gotten because he was scared of the hybrid. And now we have a third explanation where Bill asks the Doctor, and she says, well, what were you running from? What were you running to? And he's basically trying to see why good seems to win over evil.
But I don't know necessarily that that's an entirely new... I have a feeling that if we ever find out, or maybe a hope, because, who knows who's going to tell that story. My hope is that all of those are true in some way, and it will all sort of come together. Holistically, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my hope.
And then we get the first Doctor's regeneration, which, is short, but nevertheless, I still liked seeing it again. Mm-hmm. He gets his own little goodbye music from Murray Gold. And then we see him regenerate into Patrick Troughton. Anything else about the first Doctor's? Again, just, whatever. Sexism may have been a little far, but whatever. But anything else about that?
Yeah, I think I sort of feel like it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Again, paying a dubious homage
to Bill Hartnell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Now, I sort of, it all comes together. Of course, the person who wrote An Adventure in Space and Time.
Mark Gatiss, who has greatly improved his writing skills since the first thing we saw him do with Doctor Who.
Yes.
Which was bad.
Yeah. With Doctor Who characters.
Yes.
Strictly speaking, Doctor Who.
It was Doctor...
But
for copyright purposes.
That's right. But Mark Gatiss plays the captain.
Yes. And of course I love Mark Gatiss. I think he's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we learn is Lethbridge Stewart.
Yes. Grandpa.
Yeah. And obviously...
Great-great-grandpa.
Grandpa, I guess.
I mean, Grandpa to...
Oh, the Brigadier.
The Brigadier.
But you're talking about Kate.
Yeah.
Great-grandpa to Kate. Oh, yeah, I like it, yes.
Great-great-grandpa? Is Kate...
Yes, the Brigadier's daughter.
It is daughter, okay.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if it was granddaughter.
No.
Yeah, so fun. And again, those are all sort of little nods that I enjoy, in the same way that I enjoy the fact that David Tennant is married to Georgia Tennant, who is the daughter of
Peter Davison.
Yeah. I enjoy these little nods to the family aspect of Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. I think that's fun.
Yeah, and I like those nice little twists. And
yep.
I like the whole Christmas armistice, and we've probably talked about it before, but the very, well, of course, that's German, too. I was going to say very unique British in history, but the Germans were there, too. Characters. So we get the return of Bill.
Yes.
Yeah. We thought we might have said goodbye to her already with her quote-unquote death.
But with every regeneration comes the...
responsibility.
Return of casting characters. Mm-hmm. So that we can say proper goodbye.
Right.
And that was nice.
Speaking of cameo goodbyes, Nardole returns to say his goodbye.
Yep.
With his invisible hair.
Uh-huh.
And then we get a Clara appearance.
Yep. Which is fine.
He gets his memories restored.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Bless. And Rusty. Yay.
Yeah, Rusty the Dalek. Yay. Which, I don't know what that is in the children's book.
My favorite Dalek. My favorite.
Rusty the Dalek.
Yeah, indeed. Also, a character that you haven't mentioned in your timeline, in your outline, the German soldier.
That's right. Toby Whithouse, if I'm saying his name correctly, Doctor Who writer, got to play a role.
Gets to make a cameo, yeah, which I think is nice. Mm-hmm. It just seems like a nice place to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Doctor Who world.
And then we get Peter's last appearance and regeneration.
Yep.
What do you think? I mean, throughout all of this, what do you think of 12th Doctor's last outing and him at the end?
I think he went out with a huge bang. I mean, in my mind, this is the biggest regeneration story.
I think so, too. I know I'll say me. I don't know people. You can often go to the 10th Doctor's last hurrah. And even though his was longer as far as the dramatics of the regeneration.
Goodbyes of everybody.
I think that scene with Peter alone does it all. Or it's better. It's better. That's what I'm saying. It's better. But
yeah,
anyway,
and I love the 10th
it's a better
Doctor's.
story, too.
I think the 10th Doctor's jaunt back through to say goodbye to everybody is gorgeous, and I absolutely adore it. This one is better, in my mind.
Even just as a story in and of itself.
Yeah.
This is a two-parter, by the way.
Yeah, because of course it could have stood alone with nothing to do with regeneration. All of this could have still been in that. So yeah, he doesn't get as much of a going back through history and seeing all the people he's touched, wink, the story and the coming to terms, and best regeneration story.
Yeah, and I do like the first Doctor was refusing to regenerate. We get the 12th Doctor refusing to regenerate. Both for different reasons, or maybe the same reason, about fear and tiredness and weariness and all that. And the 12th Doctor with the battlefield as the illustration and all that, saying goodbye, and then his final regeneration and his final speech to his successor.
Mm-hmm. Be kind. Always be kind.
And then we get the 13th Doctor.
Oh, brilliant.
Dun, dun, dun.
Indeed.
Yeah. And then this is the end of an era for a lot. So, this is Peter's final time. But for a lot of time, this is Stephen Moffat's last moment as show writer of Doctor Who, as Chris Chibnall would be next with the 13th Doctor. Murray Gold, who has been, I don't know what's the right word, composing Doctor Who since its resurrection with the 9th Doctor and Russell T. Davies. This is his last goodbye. We would get a new composer with the Chibnall-Whittaker era. And so this is sort of an end for a lot of things for New Who and Doctor Who. So what are your final thoughts in this 12th month on the 12th Doctor?
I'm mostly sad to see Murray Gold go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
just some iconic music. Just so...
And, I mean, I always, with Doctor Who, obviously it's all about change and new directions, but... I think my critique of the current composer, it's definitely is unique to the era, but Murray, I think, has composed different pieces where you can listen to it and you're like, oh, that's from this episode or this moment. Because, they're all about emotional moments. And so even when he'll reuse stuff, so, you have...
The thematic, Clara's song.
And... Yeah, each one having a song, and then, with the 12th Doctor, you're saying goodbye, that's from Breaking the Glass or whatever, so reusing songs as iconic moments. But for the new composer, just to me it all sounds the same. That's to me. You can disagree, obviously. So I just wish there was more definite stuff. Be like, oh well, that's from this episode or this, but I can't. It all sounds the same to me.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, Murray Gold. All right.
All change.
Yeah. So have we improved or stayed the same? Your opinion on the Capaldi era?
Oh, I mean, I think that Capaldi definitely gets better every year. Mm-hmm. His last series was definitely my favorite. Mm-hmm. And his last Christmas episode was definitely my favorite. So by the time you get to that point, I'm feeling very 10th Doctor, I don't want him to go.
That's right.
Because, I feel like he finally hit, and the writers finally figured out what to do with it. I think it's... none of the writers of this era had written for an older Doctor. Mm-hmm. And so...
I am younger.
I think it took him a little... I think it took a while to get a groove with Capaldi.
Because the subtle things, too, about the wardrobe change, even though he's still in his magician's gear for this episode, but the hoodie and the guitar and the T-shirt... kind of creating that as the 12th Doctor character. Yeah.
So, yeah, it took a while, and just as they were hitting their stride, it was time to move on, which the British are famous for doing well in television, go out on a high.
All right. Well, as we said, that was the end of 12 and the beginning of 13. But before we continue to move on, let's go into the TARDIS library.
Whoosh, 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 whoosh.
When you close your eyes...
I go to the library.
Go to the library now.
So for this section, we're going to be talking about Embrace the Darkness, a Big Finish production of the 8th Doctor, premiered in June of 2002. Mm-hmm. The synopsis for this, darling?
The Doctor and Charlie travel to the remote Sumerian system to unravel the mystery of its son. But darkness has already embraced the scientific base on Sumeria 4 in more ways than one. In a fight for survival, the Doctor must use all of his wits against a deadly artificial life form and an ancient race whose return to the Sumerian system threatens suffering and death on an apocalyptic scale.
So we listened to this as we were traveling to and from relatives on Boxing Day. Mm-hmm. You know, as I was reading Doctor Who magazine, and obviously Big Finish is always pumping out more titles. I always wonder, when do people listen to these things? Because I'm like, we need a nice, proper, road trip to get these things down. I don't know.
Yeah, to catch up, you mean? We're still hanging out in 2002.
But I don't know when other people listen to Big Finish. Like, what was that? Is that how you do it?
Well, if you think about, if you were listening to them alone, you could listen to them on your commute.
Right.
So presumably that's the way a lot of people
folks do.
Yeah.
Treat it like a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just like a television show that they listen to.
Yeah, because I also don't get the... I mean, because I literally just don't get it because it's not part of... But like when you can get stuff on vinyl, I'm like, do you just listen to it? Which, I guess is fine.
Proper old school, like you're listening to the radio.
I guess.
Yeah. That's just not a thing we do.
It's not a thing we do.
Yeah.
But I guess
But people do.
Okay.
Shoot, even British people still listen to the Archers. So, like the longest running radio show in the world, or I don't know if it's in the world, but yeah, it's a radio show that people still listen to.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
So what did you think of this Eighth Doctor adventure?
Yeah, I liked it. I kept hearing Sumerian, Sumerian,
And go ahead.
And because it was an ancient civilization, and I was like, okay, I'm getting back, and then at one point they spell it, and I'm like, oh, that's not, and I don't know if that's intentional. If it's just sort of a nod to another ancient civilization or what. But
and I don't know if it's an accent or something, but at some point I heard Solarian, and I thought, that's a weird way to say Solarians.
Yes.
But then I thought, oh, solar, like the sun.
Oh, clever.
Because it's all about the sun and the adventure.
I liked this one again because the bad guys aren't bad guys.
Yeah.
None of them.
A little messy ending, but yeah.
Yes, and I don't feel like the ending was basically, oh, they are us. Moving along.
Yeah.
There's no explanation. They were like, oh, people are still alive down there? They're the people we left. We should go see them. And then we don't get any of that. So yeah, I felt like there was a lot of downtime in the middle that could have been used to explore that in more detail.
Yeah, and because for folks who haven't listened to it, as we spoil everything, but you have the people losing their eyesight painfully, which is not good, and then I guess getting it back again.
Not just
losing their eyes.
Yeah, yes. Losing their eyes,
yes.
Like they're vanished.
Yes, or something. Particles.
Particles.
Yeah, particles.
Yeah.
It's all particles.
Nanoparticles.
Something.
Yeah.
It's a little bit horrific, and then Charlie gets like half particled-eyed out. But I thought it was interesting in some respects. I like having, and I forget the name, but having the AI, the robot, whatever you want to call it, the security droid, whatever you want to call it.
Jarvis.
Yeah, as sort of the antagonist might be taking it too far. Theoretically, he was one of the good guys, but just
very literal.
What's the chart? Chaotic neutral or something, or I don't know.
Yeah.
He'd be helpful and then not helpful at times. So I think it's interesting to have that kind of a character. I thought that was unique.
Yes. Yeah. And almost a companion.
Right. And then Charlie, as a companion, often does making friends with the natives.
Friends might be a...
Yes.
Well, no, she does make friends with the Sumerian...
With the guys.
Sumerians. Yeah,
and
the vampire lady.
Yeah, the woman in charge of the... what were they? Not researchers. They were sort of putting...
They were trying to figure out how to turn the sun back on.
Yeah, they're more of a... I'm trying to think of a better word than manual labor, but that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
The installation crew. That's a better way to say that. And so it was. They were all a good use of different characters. I thought the two guys to me blended together. One was going crazy, and the other one was the not going crazy guy. And so, but yeah, the end. We go through all this with the people. The evil monsters are stealing our eyes, and like, oh, maybe they're not evil monsters, or maybe. One's a baby, and all this, and and then you have the robot kind of going crazy on you, or not going crazy. And I like that. It kept things moving along. But the end where it's like, oh no, the Doctor accidentally turned everything on, and now the ancient bad guys are coming.
New bad guys are coming.
And then it's like, oh, they're coming, they're here. Oh, it's fine, they're good. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, good on that one then.
Yeah. Yeah. That the ending felt a little abrupt.
Yes. So.
And I was comfortable with them being good guys. Yeah. I loved the idea, but then it wasn't followed through at all. It was just moving on.
What do you think of this season, if you want to think of it that way?
I'm ready to find out this whole Charlie thing.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I mean, just because I was doing it, there's 2 more episodes left in this season. So there's Time of the Daleks, which is our next one. Apparently it's Shakespeare-y.
Oh, fun.
And then there's one after that. I've already forgotten the name.
Yeah. But they keep alluding to this Charlie being pulled out of time, not dying on the Not Hindenburg.
Yes, the airship.
Yeah, or something.
Yep,
I can't remember what it was called. But the fact that she didn't die on that ripped something, and so every time they go into a new adventure, they're like, ooh, are we in this position because we ripped Charlie out of time and space?
Yeah.
We don't, maybe not, but something's coming. It just, I'm sick of the...
Yeah.
Partially because it feels heavy-handed.
Right. Well, it'll also solve it.
They have to crowbar mentions of... Yeah. And then... Was it the end of this one or the end of the one? No, it was the end of the
prior one.
The prior one.
Seasons of Fear.
Yeah, that like all of a sudden Ghost Charlie Evil shows up.
Yes.
And they didn't touch on that at all in this one. So, yeah, let's just sort it out. Yeah.
We don't mind a slight teasing, but, come on.
But don't...
Time is money, people.
Yeah, and it just feels really heavy-handed.
Especially, and again, I don't know... Because I wonder, Big Finish has to think about this. Obviously they do. How does the audience consume this? And so of course, this is from 2002, so this is obviously more than a decade ago. But anyway, when you're producing these, what's the thought of like how long can you keep an audience engaged? How are they engaged and all that stuff? Whereas with the telly, we have X number of episodes for X weeks, so. So, like, for Chris Chibnall, I have 10 episodes in season 12. If I'm doing a serial, that's how long it'll last.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what my arc needs to look like.
Yeah. But with these, because this one is, approximately 2 hours for this episode. So, These can be lengthy at times. Not necessarily in a bad way, though.
Sometimes
not necessarily in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's more classic than New Who.
Yeah, although, again, this one I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Of course, it makes sense that it's more classic than New Who. Because New Who didn't exist yet.
Yeah, not yet. So it'll be interesting as we listen to stuff produced
when it
post.
catches up. Yeah. Well, we've listened to Class, which is coming out with a new season.
Yeah, that's true.
We've listened to Jack.
River.
Captain Jack, River. And as a general rule, I would say they tend to move a little faster.
Yeah.
They tend to arc out and come back together. Whereas this was an entire 2-hour episode in 20 or 25 minute increments, like Old Who. The others sort of have 25-minute episodes that ultimately sort of arc together. So it'll be interesting to see if that also happens with the Doctor Who characters, not just the spinoff.
Yeah, and then it's, as you say, because I was looking at Doctor Who magazine, I think our next River song volume is 4, I think. They're out with 7 now, and I'm like, ugh, boy, you people.
Yay, I love River.
Yeah, don't worry, there's lots to do. Like, I've already downloaded the second Captain Jack one.
Yay!
So anyway.
Excellent.
Lots, big catalog.
Right, when are we going to start our road trip?
I guess. Well.
We don't have a big trip planned until September, and that's going to be on an aeroplane.
Yeah. We could have the 2 head. Oh, no, we have the thing now.
Yeah, we do. Got that for you for Christmas last year?
Yeah, something. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yep. So what are we talking about next week, darling?
Obviously, next week, we're talking about the newest Doctor Who episode, 13 Returns, with by fall.
All right, and we'll be talking about parts 1 and 2, because, of course, part 1 comes out on New Year's Day, perhaps when you're listening to this now, and then part 2 comes out that subsequent Sunday, so we'll be reviewing parts 1 and 2 together, and we'll enjoy this new journey and new series of Doctor Who.
Yay!
The 13th Doctor. Well, thanks as always to Wally and the Sononauts for providing us with their jazz Doctor Who theme tune. And until next week, enjoy the Doctor's many adventures throughout time and space.
This is BBC Television.